So the next step in the process is to create a production file out of your 3 video segments. And so I will now do that with 3 segments that I created offline so that you haven't actually seen them before, but using the template that I provided. So what I'm now going to do is open Camtasia Studio, which is the production part of the Camtasia product. You have the studio part for producing videos and the recorder part for actually recording them. And normally you would not have the recorder operated while you were running Studio, but as you can see, that's what I am doing here. So basically, when I do the Studio, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating videos from the 3 files that I had. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to import media, and I'm going to go to that drive, which is an external drive. I like to record video to an external drive because they can be quite large, and that way I don't run out of space. And I created my files as Grandin123. So I'm just going to hold down the Shift key, select all 3 of them. I clicked on Import Media, and then I'm going to click Open. And what that does is it brings the 3 files into Camtasia Studio. Now, if you looked at those 3 files, they would actually have the extension TREC, which is the Camtasia recording structure. TREC files won't play on anything. What the production studio, Camtasia Studio, does is it allows you to basically create, splice together all of the different pieces, add effects, and then save it in a format that can be played directly or uploaded to YouTube, such as MP4. And that's what we're going to do here. So first, I'll take the first of those recordings and I will drag them down to the timeline, because the way this program works is there's a timeline. Now what you'll notice here is that there are 2 distinct elements to my timeline. There is this one, which seems to have a picture of me, and then there's this one, which is the screen. Camtasia records the screen and the video from your webcam separately. Now, if I click somewhere on the timeline, it basically creates a pointer that I can scroll through, and that allows me to have some control. Now, the first thing that I am going to do here is, if you'll notice, there are some blank spots here. When I create a video, I like to be silent for a few seconds and then silent for a few seconds at the end, and then I can trim those off. This thing here allows me to expand the timeline, so I've got a slightly clearer view of it. Well, I guess I maybe went one too far. And so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to move the pointer over here, and this is actually the sound of my voice. If I play here, you can see that.
Hello, my name is Grandin Hill. I am.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, and if I grab this green thing here, I can drag this over, and then I can cut it, so that now it starts right where my voice begins.
Hello, my name is Grandin Hill.
Okay, and then I'll come over to the end, and I will cut off this stuff at the end. And you'll notice at the end, the 2 timelines for the screen and the recording are a little bit different, and that's why I always need to trim the end off. So we cut this, and now we've got the first video in there. I'll now drag the second one down, and I'll do the same process. So I'll drag it, I'll pull it over so it starts right after the first one. We can see the audio starting up. I'll just slice off a little bit of audio at the beginning here. This time I grab the right one, and I cut that. Then I come to the end and I trim off the video at the end. The Camtasia recorder is sitting here. Maybe I'll put it up here for the time being. So we've got some stuff at the end. If I want to see where I stop talking, I can play it.
If my time frees out, I'll do a little bit more.
Okay, so I'll cut this and cut that off, and then I'll put the third video in here. Just just drag it down. Okay, and we'll move this over, scroll over, wait for the audio to appear. It sometimes takes a few moments if you've got a lot of it. Okay, so we cut there, and then we come over here. We cut. I looks like I was 4 minutes, not 3 minutes. All right, we'll live with that. Okay, so now I've got this. So now I've basically created all the video. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this track here so I don't change it. This is the screen track, and then I'm going to come over here and move on the timeline. And basically, the way these timelines work is you can have as many tracks as you want. If you add a plus sign, you can add more tracks, and they sit on top of each other. So right now, this picture of me is sitting on top of the screen. What I am now going to do is I'm going to take this picture, drag it, and then expand it. And that will be, I'll just put it sort of in the middle. Sometimes there's a line. Yeah, that centers the line. Okay. And one thing you'll notice about this picture is most of the time my picture sits directly on the PowerPoint. And the reason for that is that I play it behind a green screen and then remove the green screen. But I don't anticipate that you guys are going to be doing that. So I'm trying to make this one a little bit more realistic. So now I'm going to come over here, and because I've got a break between these two segments, it's going to have a separate photo over here. So I'll select this photo, and what I'd like to do is go sort of to the end of the timeline here. And I could shrink it if I want to move it a little bit more because that timeline's kind of big, kind of hard to work with. So now I'll drag this over to the end so I can see what the full picture looks like, and then I can drag myself up here. Woo! I rotated it. I didn't mean to do that. You see there's a rotation as well. So if I wanted to cause myself to rotate, I could do that as well. And there are all sorts of nifty effects you can add in Camtasia, but we're not going to deal with those yet. That's something that you can do over time. So I like to have myself, well, maybe I'll stick myself right here in the middle. All right, so now when I play this, it's going to have me.
Tommy, who is a senior at the College of William & Mary and is hoping to join us at USF for a master's program next year.
Okay, now I'll come over to this last segment, and on this case it's on the other side of the screen, so I'll drag this, maybe move it here. Now, one of the things you can do if you don't like what's on the screen is you can actually do some cropping. I'll have to scroll this down. If you have your image selected and you select this thing, you can actually crop a little bit, which basically just gives you only part of the image. I don't know particularly why I'm doing this here, but just to demonstrate. Okay, and then I click again, and now it's resizing. And so I'll move the recorder. I'm going to move this thing away, or maybe it won't bother me there. I'll scroll over here, and then I'll make sure I've got enough room so I can drag this. Okay, and so now just to show you that what happened here, what I'll do is I'll play across the breaks. So watch what happens as we move from slide to slide.
News that are completely unpublished, and I haven't really done that recently. But maybe if my time frees out, I'll do a little bit more. So an obvious question to ask is, why did I choose to teach in the DBA program? And there are a number of reasons. First off, working in the DBA program allows me to teach a number of topics.
Okay, so you get the idea there. So now actually we're pretty much ready to produce, which will be the next step. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to save this file, because what I've created here is essentially a file that tells it how to produce. I haven't produced anything yet. So I'll save the project as, I'll go down to my same drive to video, and I'll call this one grandin.proj, and then I'll be ready to actually create a production. And it's telling me I need to produce it afterwards, and that's something I know.